The most expensive penthouse in Dubai Marina has never been slept in, not one single night. The European retail tycoon who wired $87.7 million for the absolute crown of the Marina skyline, a sprawling six-bedroom fortress on the 96th floor with a private terrace a quarter-mile in the Arabian sky, has, by his own broker's public admission, never spent an evening there. Instead, he has spent years doing something far more desperate. Trying to escape, he listed it for $170 million. No takers. He pulled the listing, panicking, and dropped it to $130 million. Still, nothing but silence. Then he slashed it again, down near $100 million, with his new broker publicly calling the original valuation completely indefensible. The man who bought the ultimate trophy asset in the UAE has been trying to hand the keys to anyone else almost since the day he took delivery. And in this mega-tall tower, he is not the exception. He is the blueprint. This is the construction files, and this is document number 10. Today, we follow the money out the door. The hedge fund elites, the oil magnates, the ultra-high net worth expats who can afford anything are doing the one thing no PR firm can spin. They are selling at a brutal loss. In the strangest twist yet, even one of the master developers who built this glass monolith is currently being pushed out of his own private units inside it. Let's look at the ledger, because cursed is just an opinion. But a registered Dubai Land Department closing price is a cold, hard fact. Exhibit 1, Unit 96. Purchased in 2016 for $87.7 million, over $10,600 per square foot. Years on the market, multiple elite brokerages cycled through, and the highest residence in the Marina still cannot find a buyer at anywhere near its dream price. The market isn't just correcting, it's fleeing. And the structural secrets hiding behind the gleaming glass facade explain exactly why. To understand why the money is running, you have to look at the engineering timeline. This tower was marketed as an architectural miracle, a 1,396-foot needle piercing the desert sky. But physics doesn't care about marketing budgets. In the hyper-dense soils of the Dubai coast, building a supertall means fighting two relentless enemies: intense Gulf heat and shifting ground. Exhibit 2 is the foundation file. Unlike solid bedrock, reclaimed coastal land and marine silt require massive friction piles, driven deep into the earth. The engineering specs demanded a network of reinforced concrete piles to anchor the immense weight. But according to internal reports now circulating among engineering consultants, the sheer speed of construction collided with a brutal reality: extreme thermal expansion during the scorching summer months. Temperatures routinely cross 115 degrees Fahrenheit. The exterior concrete and structural cold glass absorb this immense heat, expanding rapidly, while the interior core remains heavily air-conditioned. This massive thermal gradient creates constant, microscopic stress along the tower's joints. Up on the 80th floor, that physical reality translates into a terrifying symphony of groans, pops, and metallic clicks as the building flexes against the temperature spikes. Then came the moisture. In Dubai's humid coastal zone, saline air is highly corrosive. The tower's hyper-complex HVAC and plumbing systems were designed to pump water under extreme pressure a quarter-mile straight up, but the system couldn't handle the pressure differentials. First came the hairline fractures in the upper-level pipe welds. Then came the floods. Multiple high-end residences were completely deluged by brackish, pressurized water cascading down from mechanical floors, destroying millions of dollars in custom Italian marble and custom millwork in minutes. Worse still, the ultra-slender profile of the tower means it reacts violently to high-altitude winds coming off the Arabian Gulf. The building was designed to sway, but residents quickly discovered that the slenderness ratio created an intolerable acceleration rate. In high winds, the elevators, the only viable way to reach the clouds, automatically shut down for safety, trapping billionaires in their sky-high fortresses. It wasn't a luxury resort anymore. It was a vertical prison. This structural distress isn't unique to a single tower. It's drawing terrifying parallels across the entire UAE luxury landscape. From downtown Dubai to the outer fronds of the Palm, the physics of extreme desert construction are catching up with the real estate boom. The ledger shows that when a trophy tower develops structural anxiety, the financial contagion spreads fast. Take Exhibit 3. the 79th floor of our Marina monolith. This 8,000 square foot sanctuary was meticulously designed by a celebrated Japanese minimalist architect, featuring ancient weathered stones imported directly from Kyoto and rare old-growth hinoki cypress. It was originally listed for an astronomical $135 million. 2 years of empty silence later, the Dubai Land Department Registry recorded a closing price of just $65.6 million for the main apartment. Even when you bundle in 2 attached staff studios, the total package barely cleared $70 million. That is a straight 50% haircut. And here is the detail that should freeze every institutional investor cold. That final clearance price was almost exactly what the sellers paid for the raw space back in 2016. 8 years of holding a premier global address. 8 years of astronomical service charges, district cooling fees, luxury asset taxes, and maintenance costs, all for a round trip straight to zero appreciation. This happened during a decade when Dubai's broader luxury market was supposedly breaking records. Go a few floors down to the 84th level, and you see the exact same pattern playing out on a smaller scale. A unit purchased for $21.4 million was thrown onto the market at $18 million, already deep underwater. With no takers, the desperate owner slashed it to $15 million. These multimillionaires aren't negotiating for profit anymore. They are negotiating the absolute size of their losses. When international investors living 200 vertical feet apart are running the exact same play. Dump the asset, accept the damage, get out. That isn't individual bad luck. That is a collective market verdict on the structural integrity of the building. The market is pricing in structural fear, and the resulting comparable data is starting to drag down the valuations of every neighboring supertall across the marina. Now for the part of this file that almost no major real estate outlet will cover, and frankly, the most damning piece of evidence in the entire dossier. The 2 elite joint venture development partners who built this marina icon, a legendary local tycoon and his international private equity backers, are currently locked in a brutal, public war inside their own collapsing asset. According to official legal filings registered right here in Dubai, the corporate backer moved to foreclose on 3 massive luxury units owned personally by the master developer himself. The allegation? He defaulted on a staggering $46 million in structured loans directly tied to those specific apartments. The developer instantly fired back with a massive countersuit, claiming his partners actually owe him over $110 million in withheld developer distributions and unpaid fees. Let that visual sit with you for a second. The visionary behind Dubai's most exclusive residential address, the man whose personal brand was used to sell these sky-high dreams to global billionaires, is facing active foreclosure proceedings on his own private residences inside the tower, brought by his own business partners. When the captains start suing each other over the remaining lifeboats, you do not need a structural engineer's report to tell you exactly how the voyage is going. To truly understand how catastrophic this fall from grace is, you have to remember the absolute frenzy when the tower first broke ground. Built on a prime ultra-scarce plot of coastal land, it was marketed as the ultimate vertical country club for the world's moving targets. The sales velocity made history, smashing through $2 billion in off-plan residential sales faster than any luxury development in the region. 48 individual units closed at prices well north of $20 million on the way to a historic $2.9 billion total sellout. Buyers weren't just purchasing real estate. They were buying entry into a hyper-exclusive elite tier. It featured a private Michelin-starred restaurant, a 75-foot temperature-controlled indoor pool, and an automated valet system that promised 5-star luxury. The marketing pitch promised immortality in reinforced concrete, a bulletproof asset class that could only ever appreciate. But as of mid-2026, that pitch has completely dissolved. 2 massive lawsuits are now winding their way through the legal system, seeking a combined $415 million in structural remediation damages, with plaintiffs alleging the developers knew about systemic facade fatigue and plumbing defects during the height of the sales campaign. The defendants deny all wrongdoing, calling the tower an architectural masterpiece. But the international elite aren't waiting for a judge. They are liquidating. The safe deposit box in the sky has sprung a leak, and the smart money is cashing out at any cost. Every heavily discounted transaction on the Marina ledger instantly becomes a permanent resale comparable. That $65.6 million clearance on the 79th floor is now the cold baseline data that every bank appraiser pulls when any super tall unit goes under contract. Comps do not care about developer marketing or glossy brochures. They ruthlessly drag neighboring valuations toward the latest distressed reality. Lenders see this data and freeze. A megatall tower carrying over $400 million in active structural lawsuits, coupled with an internal partner foreclosure war, is a building where mortgage committees instantly slash loan-to-value ratios or refuse to lend entirely. This decimates the buyer pool, shrinking it exclusively to cash buyers. And cash buyers in a distressed market name their own price. Meanwhile, the carrying costs run in only one direction, up. Litigation budgets, facade investigations, and soaring insurance premiums all flow directly into the monthly service charges. Owners are left paying tens of thousands of dollars a month just to sit on a trophy asset while waiting for a buyer who may only appear at 50 cents on the dollar. The curse on this building isn't supernatural. It is compounding financial mechanics. So, is this Marina icon actually cursed? No. A curse implies bad luck, and nothing in this file is luck. The flexing is pure physics, dictated by extreme slenderness ratios. The leaks and fatigue are the predictable results of building too fast in a brutal desert climate. The exodus is just rational, ultra-wealthy people reading engineering documents the rest of the market ignored and paying whatever it costs to leave first. Because in a structurally or financially failing tower, the first one out the door loses the least. The billionaires aren't fleeing a ghost. They are fleeing a balance sheet. The files stay open.